What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at Sundance 2024. I am so excited to talk about Sasquatch Sunset. I walked out of your movie last night thinking to myself, one of the greatest things in the world, how does this movie exist? Thank you for this. I did not know I needed this in my life. I mean it. Before we dig into the movie, I need to give an extra special shout out to Filmio, our sponsor this year. Filmio is wonderful. They let us hit Park City and celebrate independent films. And they are also a groundbreaking company that puts the power to greenlight films in the hands of fans and creators. If you want to learn more about Filmio, check out their website, film.io. Okay, David, I'm going to give you these duties. Can you give everybody a brief synopsis of Sasquatch Sunset?
Well, it's a year in the life of a family of Sasquatches, fighting for survival in the Pacific Northwest wilderness.
Very, very succinct there. I like that. In our press notes, the log line was just a year in the life of a singular family.
That was before the screening. Yeah. He wasn't giving much.
It's kind of nice to keep it short and sweet like that. Looking at the writing of the film, can you tell us the core idea that started it all? But then also, if you had a break story moment, something that convinced you that this concept could sustain a feature-length film?
Well, Nathan and I had made a short that we had at Sundance in 2011 called Sasquatch Birth Journal 2, and that I don't know, and that did really well, and so I don't know, we just kept joking about expanding on that world, and we just joked about it enough to where it became real eventually, but then it took a long time to get together beyond that.
Oh yeah, I'm going to come back to that. Christophe and Riley, briefly. So you get this script. I'm sure the script is wonderful, but it feels like a concept that might be difficult to fully wrap your head around and believe is even possible just based on the page alone. So after you read it, what were some of your biggest burning questions for the two of them in terms of, getting the information you needed to make you believe that this could be a film we could actually make?
I think that I got a call first, and they said, like, the Zellner brothers are making a movie about Sasquatches. And I was like, great, hire me. And then I got the lookbook and the script, and it's such a beautiful script, and the lookbook was beautiful. Like, it's so beautiful and true to the cinematography in the film. Like, the script is also a stunning, like, it's a beautiful script, and obviously it's really funny and ridiculous, but it's beautifully written. And I think that I was most nervous about being able to do a good job at it, because it can't be silly, and of course it is silly, but they need to be believable, and it needs to, in order for all those beats to work, and for it to work, you have to be believable as a Sasquatch, and that's not something that was in my wheelhouse at the time. So I think I was honestly most curious if I could do it. And then I met with them, and I just loved, I'd already met them before, but I love their work and I love them. So I kind of just decided to give it a shot.
That's one of the best qualities of the movie. The fact that it offers laugh out loud moments, but there's always an earnestness to it all that makes sure that you establish a real connection with these characters and you care about them. I was very impressed by that.
Yeah, I think the conversation that I had, I don't remember if it was I think it was maybe the full script and also the lookbook, and it just seemed like such a real project that wasn't tongue-in-cheek or trying to be fake or trying to be silly for silly's sake. And then the conversation that I had with David and Nathan, I felt like we gelled so well, or I understood what they were kind of trying to go for, and I was so into signing on to something that was wacky and also serious.
I remember we actually had this conversation about how heartbreaking watching your dog can be.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Oh yeah.
And
you had your dog with you.
I had my dog with me, and then that sort of was the essence of finding the characters of the Sasquatch family, and then I think in that moment I was like, that would be such a incredible thing to try and get to do as an actor, to play an animal person that evokes those kinds of feelings. So
that makes so much sense. As a cat and dog lover, I feel like that immediately just clicked in my brain the way you described it. Bringing up the script made me curious. What does the dialogue look like on the page?
There's no dialogue. It's just it talks about where they grunt, you know, and it talks about what they're conveying in the grunts. So it gets very specific on the information they're conveying. But yeah, it's done through their language.
When the time is right, I'd be so curious to read that script and see the lookbook.
Oh yeah.
Release some extra materials when the time is right. David and Nathan, for both of you, how does your approach to directing your actors change when your actors are essentially carrying around a significant amount of, you know, FX hair, makeup, and costumes?
Well, I think like for Nathan, he was kind of he's been doing the Sasquatch shtick for a long time. Since we were kids, he's just like dialed into ape mode. And then you know, and then when we talked with Christophe, we it was very clear he got the, you know, the tone, and Riley as well. And we never had any question, you know, Riley would be able to dial into this role, because I think one of the things we've always loved about her films is no matter what she's in, it always feels very genuine and very, very present and real, no matter what type of role it is. Like, that's always seen that consistency throughout. And so like, oh my God, if we can bring that groundedness to this creature, it would be incredible. So, is
there any B-roll of you dressed as your Sasquatch directing the movie?
I have some. I have quite a bit of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because there was a few days, especially where I was, you know, shooting the morning or even in the afternoon, but everybody got in a costume. And so, yeah, it's like me behind the camera with David, and I'm in just my full makeup. And I
feel like he was staying in costume, like in solidarity, because mostly because it was tough.
But it was. I think everybody got normalized to these suits and the look so quickly. It was. I forgot that I was wearing it sometimes, and everybody else was. It was just like talking to me normally, I think.
Yeah, we were getting directed by one person and one Sasquatch.
Yeah, one human that was cackling like an idiot, and a very earnest Sasquatch. It's funny how normalized how quickly it got for both the cast and crew, because we're joking, like I remember a couple times in the shoot, we're like, if someone just wandered into this set and we were just so like nonplussed about everything.
I know, there were some people, like, we'd lock off the roads, but there were some times like people would drive through and we'd be sitting on the streets in our like cast chairs with our Sasquatch faces on, and then like our jackets.
Oh, yeah.
My dream come true. Why can't I drive by a set like that? Yeah. Nathan, the answer to this question might be no, but I was just talking to another actor-director who explained his process of directing his actors this way, where sometimes he's able to direct his scene partners through his performance, where he can make certain choices with his characters in order to spark new choices in the people he's acting opposite. Did you ever do that here?
Not intentionally. I think everybody, like, the big thing was, you know, the tone of this film being so specific, and once we met everybody on the crew got that right away, and it just enabled everybody to have a huge, you know, sandbox to play in once we were on set. So, you know, it wasn't like we had to push things a certain direction or whatever. It was more of like, you know, this is what the scene is going to be about, and then the mannerisms and stuff kind of just when you're in those suits, it just kind of flowed out of you. And so it was the scenes kind of had that sort of rhythm to it, to where it's like, all right, this is what we're going to do, and we didn't really have to like do a lot of specific, you know, corrections or directions or anything like that. It was mostly you know, just it felt like a really fun adventure, you know.
It was I think because everyone was so dialed into the tone, it was the most collaborative thing we've ever done. So it made our job easy, because we, you know, if we didn't have to puppeteer anyone, we could just sit back and everyone could, you know, work within those boundaries, and everyone kind of knew when it was working or wasn't.
With that in mind, I know this is a very unique movie, but is there anything about the process of making Sasquatch Sunset that you think you're going to apply to your next film, even if it doesn't feature a whole family of Sasquatch?
Too early to tell.
I think you should turn this into an anthology, and the sequel should be, I don't know, like a family of Yeti or something.
Who knows? Yeah.
Distant cousins.
I like to speak what I want into existence.
Yeah.
You were kind of joking about this when we were slating earlier, but were there any names for them, or even like code names that you would use to refer to each character on set?
Yeah, I think like mine we just called the Alpha Sasquatch, because he was more of the stereotypical, brooding sort of face.
Asshole.
Alpha male. And then, the rest of the family we would just refer to like the child, or, Jesse was the mother Sasquatch.
I feel like on set, like you were the only one that had a character name. It was Alpha, and then we were all like Riley and Jesse and Christophe.
That's true.
That's enough. It works.
You transform the most.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by your work with movement coach. I think someone Jesse had brought in for the production. Can you maybe each give us like a pillar or specific technique you learned from this movement coach that everyone will be able to see you applying to your work in the finished film?
You guys want?
Riley has some good.
Really? What?
Just like when we had this Zoom session with the movement coach, and and everybody was supposed to like get into this sort of primate sort of animal mindset and just sort of walk around your room or your space and pick up things and discover them, and a lot of that turned into putting stuff in your mouth.
Yeah, we did first we did Zoom rehearsals, and I was really nervous in the Zoom rehearsals.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then once we got in the room with each other, it was less stressful, but it was, I think that he kind of, he really helped with our walk. That was something that was super helpful, like to make our walk, we had the same walk, but obviously we have different characters, but the walk of like the famous Sasquatch video and the pose you sort of see them frozen in, like we kind of took that and turned it into a movement, and he really helped with that. And then just finding the, how human and how ape to be was interesting. I think we all landed in different places a little bit, which I think was also fine because we're making up whatever we want.
Yeah, it made each character distinctive in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember early on maybe after one of the first rehearsal sessions we had like that, Riley was like, I remember you said, I think my character should be the most feral. And we were like, okay.
I just felt like on the sort of like the scale of evolution, she was the most behind. That was
or the most advanced.
Or the most
I was
advanced.
gonna say that was kind of my impression by the end.
It was my choice. I stick by it.
It was a great one.
I think it was interesting working with Lauren, learning how to pick things up with your whole, like not using your fingertips, but like grasping more with your hand. And then when we were talking about just putting things in our mouth, it was kind of not. Oh, and you also sent we got some references of apes that were just kind of using their eyes to look around instead of kind of like neck movements and stuff like that. So there was a lot of influence from
a lot of YouTube deep
yeah,
dive.
we got sent, like, they had obviously done their homework, and we got sent like a huge list of videos and sounds and all of these things. So it was kind of like combining all of them, which was cool. And then also watching 2001 Space Odyssey, the beginning, and just kind of adding it all in.
I love the creative possibilities with a film like this. I want to see more movies that are made this way. One very brief question before I have to let you go. Can you give me the exact translation of anything we see or hear in the film? Like, I basically want something to repeat until everybody can experience the movie, if you know what I mean. Like, whether it's a grunt or one of the hand motions that they do. Like, I feel like when you're watching the movie, you understand exactly what it means, but I want a translation.
Somebody asked me today what the banging on the tree meant. Can I say that?
Yeah.
And that was sort of like a call to see if there were other Sasquatch around.
I like that one.
Yeah.
More Sasquatch. I don't know, make a Yeti movie. There's so many creatures out there that you can make a movie about.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Anthology series. I am willing it into existence right now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your movie. Thank you to Filmio. And thanks to everybody out there watching. Keep an eye out for Sasquatch Sunset and stay tuned. More from Sundance 2024 for you soon.